What's up, everyone? My name is Matthew Dale, and I am here to help you play better, sound great, and understand more. And I thought it would be fun today to do a little bit of a fractal challenge, something I'm calling the 3-block challenge. Is it possible to create a fully fleshed out preset that's gig ready using only 3 blocks? In this preset, I'm going to utilize all 8 scenes. I want a really good clean tone, a really good drive tone, a really good lead tone. I also want a rhythmic delay, like a dotted eighth rhythmic delay, and I want something atmospheric as well. I want this to be a very versatile preset. So let's see if I can do it with just 3 blocks. Okay, so I'm going to use my FM3 today, mostly because if we are only going to limit ourselves to 3 blocks, we are probably thinking about saving CPU, and that would be something that we would want to do on the FM3 most likely. So 3-block challenge on the FM3. I am going to start with the input and output blocks. Those don't count. You need to have those to have signal, so I'm not really counting those in this challenge. Input 1, output 1, and we're going to connect them up and start life with the amp block. And I'm going to use the matchless D30 amp type today. Let's go ahead and pair it up with, I'm going to go with some of my favorite greenback cabs. And let's pull these guys up. Green for greenback. I like this one here, Factory Bank 2, 761 and 763. We'll pull these guys in. These are just great greenback IRs that almost sound good on just about everything. I'm going to hard pan each one left and right. Let's go into the preamp, and I'm going to be a little bit more aggressive than usual because I'm only using 3 main blocks here. So I'm going to go down to 100 hertz with a really aggressive cut here, 24 decibels per octave, 6,000 hertz with the same. And right now, I've got this so far. Still really bassy. So what I'm going to do is bring the bass back to maybe 1 or so. Yeah, let's boost the treble up a little bit and the high cut just to bring back some of those excess high-end frequencies. And that's starting to sound pretty good there. I like that. Good cutting amplifier. The thing that I like about the D30 is it sounds really good in all of the range of drives. So if I bring this back down to like 2 or 3, I get a great clean tone. And then if I boost it up to like 7, then I get a great drive tone. And that's what I'm going to use first for my range of drive in this preset. I'm also going to change one other thing out. I'm going to go down here to dynamics, and I'm going to use a little bit of output compression just to even out the difference between my clean tone and my drive tone. So maybe like output compression around 3 somewhere. So now we can hear this. If I go back down to 3, the level difference isn't that great. And overall, I'm going to boost the level. I've also got the level meter up here too, just so I can make sure that I'm delivering the strongest level without clipping. So let me bring this up a little bit. A little bit more. So my level meter is just right before the red line, and that's going to be good. Now, to access the range of drive tones that are in this amplifier, I'm going to put a scene controller 1, on the drive level, and I want my minimum value to be kind of around that 2.5 to 3 area for that nice, sparkly, clean tone. Let's go up to 2.6, and then I want that drive tone to be somewhere like 7.6 or something. I'm just kind of going off what I heard a second ago. I'm also going to do something a little bit fancy here. I want the update to be a little bit slower, so I get kind of this nice even ramp between my gain levels. So there's less breakage in tone. I want this preset to be very even. I don't want a whole lot of pops or cracks or dead space from scene to scene. So this is going to be one way that I do that. I changed the damping over here to linear. And now, so there's our scene controller 1. If I go into scene controllers, I'm going to set up scene 1 is clean. Let's do scene 2 as drive. Scene 3 is lead. And we'll talk about the lead tone here in a second. But if I flip between these two, here's my nice clean tone. Scene 2. And you can hear how nice and smooth that is. You can adjust the time that takes to taste. I'm doing like, kind of half a second there, 444 milliseconds. It doesn't really matter too much. You can set that to taste. Now on scene 3, let's go ahead and get my lead tone set up. I'm going to use the input boost as kind of like my drive block here. I'm not going to use a drive block. The amp block and so many of the blocks in the Fractal stuff are so jam-packed with features, it's really possible to do this with a minimal number of blocks, and especially the amp block. There's so many great features here. I don't need a drive block. So I'm going to go and let's do the Super OD and let's boost this up about 15 dB. And now on my lead setting, bridge pickup, I got a little bit more tightness and a little bit more drive out of that. Back to my controllers menu, let's do CS per scene. I'm going to select all these two off, and scene 3 is going to have that pedal on. And I'm going to put a modifier on this guy. Remember, we were using control switch 1. So now control switch 1 over on our controllers, set to on for scene 3. That's going to be the lead scene, and then off for everything else. So if we look at that, it's on for scene 3, off for scene 2. And then I'm bringing that drive level down back to our clean tone. Okay, so that's going to be most of the drive tones taken care of. Again, I'm using the Matchbox D30, the matchless style amplifier in here. I really like the way this amplifier sounds, and if you want to check out my preset template pack, I have a template that's dedicated to this amplifier and other iterations of this amplifier in there as well. You can find my preset templates linked in the description below. And if you just want some great go-to tips and tricks for some great amp sounds and some great cabinets within the Fractal stuff, you can download my Fractal Favorites Amps and Cabs guide. Again, that's a free guide. I'll have it in the description in the box below. Okay, so now we're going to go on to some time-based effects. We're going to get some reverb and delay sounds. I want something atmospheric. I want a rhythmic delay sound. And for this, I'm going to use, again, one of my favorite blocks in the Fractal stuff, the Multitap Delay. Here's how I'm going to set this up. So again, we're creating smooth transitions from sound to sound or from scene to scene. I'm going to use the quad parallel delay. And first, let's go down, and I'm just going to pull down the levels on delays 1 and 2 first, and I'm going to get sort of a faux reverb sound set up. I'm going to get some short delays, like 50 milliseconds or so, or around that. I want to do some stereo goodness, so I'm going to do a little bit of different time on each side. And yeah, 46, 62, hard panned left and right. Levels are up. It sounds like this. So it's almost kind of like this room slapback type thing. But if we go down here to, first I'm going to EQ this. I don't want all this excess low end. I'm going to bring that up like around 200 or so. And then let's pull this down to like 4. That's kind of like the Abbey Road trick. It just helps clean up your delay and your reverb sounds. Let's go up to the diffuser now, and this is really going to give us a good reverb sound. Let me go back to my 2 humbuckers, and let's go back here. I'm going to increase the feedback a little bit just to give us a little more reverb sound. Something that's not too in your face. It's just a nice level of ambience for our guitar tone. And now let's go back to delays 1 and 2, and let's bring back our more delay type delays, I guess I would say. And I'm going to bring these up to 100, and I'm going to hard pan these guys left and right. Let's hear what these sound like. a little bit busy for my taste in this sort of, this is going to be like my clean reverb and delay sound. So I'm going to drop these back a little bit. And that's a little bit better there. Let's bring this down to 20% or so. Great, so that's gonna be like just my standard ambience tone. And what I'm gonna do here to get all of these different sounds that I want is copy channel A over to all of my other channels. And this will work without too many pops and zings and all the other stuff that can happen when we change from one delay type to a dramatically different delay type. I'm going to use basically the same architecture that we came up with on channel A across all of the different channels here. That way, when I switch scenes and I switch sounds, it's a lot less for the Fractal unit to reroute and change, and that's going to make the transitions a lot more seamless. So over here on channel B, I want my rhythmic delay. I'm going to put this on a dotted eighth as well. We're going to crank the levels up here. I want a little bit of chorus on these guys as well. And maybe some on chorus 3 and 4, although we're going to drop the diffusion back quite a bit. And let's see what this sounds like. And I want a little bit more feedback out of the first two and a little bit more in the mix. Let's go ahead and drop the short guys back down a little bit. And a little bit more in the mix here. Cool, let's do that with, let's do a little bit of scene 2 for some drive, and let's go back to... I could probably do a little bit more mix here when it's driven like that. And let's just make it a little bit drier on the reverb side of things, and I'm going to turn these guys down just a little bit more. Let's go back to the clean tone, and let's hear this. Good, I like that. Let's move over to C, and channel C I want to be a really big, wide lead delay. So I'm gonna drop the diffusion back a little bit more so it's a little bit drier, and then we're gonna crank these guys up. I wanna leave them at a quarter and a dotted eighth. Let's add a bit more chorus on these guys, and on the short ones, let's kind of really shorten these up. Let's do a lot less feedback and more chorus. Chorus everywhere. Chorus all around. And let's just hear what we got. Let's increase the mix. There's that nice pillow of delay. Let's drop the diffusion back a little bit more. And let's go back to our lead scene. And I've got C selected. I could probably do maybe just a little bit more feedback from these guys, but otherwise I think that's pretty good. I like that. Now, let's go back over to our clean tone. And D is going to be our atmospheric type of sound here. So I'm going to leave these guys where they are. Let's crank up the feedback quite a bit. Let's leave these guys where they are. And feedback should be good there. And we're going to crank the diffusion up all the way, but I'm going to leave the diffusion time. I was finding that if I move the diffusion time, there's a lot more pops and zings that happen on the channel switches. So I'm going to leave that alone. Let's crank up the mix to like 50%. And now I should have something that's really nice and atmospheric. Yeah, that sounds great. Let's do a little bit more feedback on all of these. This will actually increase the reverb time or the reverb length. And I could even go just a little bit heavier on the mix for some of that really, really, really ambient tone. Yeah, that sounds great. Okay, now let's go ahead and organize this in our scenes. So I'm going to move this back to channel A, and then here's how I want this scene layout to be. I want scene 1 to be clean. I want scene 2 to be our dirt sound or kind of a dirty rhythm sound. Let's do scene 3 as lead. And I might also do scene 4 as like a really dry lead. And that way, if the lead delay is too much, I can come back and kind of do a dry lead sound. Scene 5, let's have this be our atmosphere. Scene 6, I want the dotted eighth on the clean tone. Scene 7, let's have this be drive and dotted eighth delay. And then I want scene 8 to be a nice clean boost. That way, if I want to take a solo but have a clean tone, I've got something to push me out in front of the mix as well. So I'm just going to take a look at this with the scene manager, and if I'm looking at the amp, we want that all in A. The cab, everything should be channel A there as well. Good. Now, on the multi-tap delay, this is where things get interesting. So I want this to be A. This is just my standard reverb and delay sound. C is lead. That's where we want. That's our lead delay. Dry, I'm going to put this back to A for a drier lead sound. Atmosphere is going to be D. And then we have the dotted eighth delay over there, the dotted eighth delay over there. And the clean boost, since this is kind of a lead thing, let's go ahead and put the lead delay on it there. That's channel C, and that looks good. Now, over in the output block, let's go ahead and go over to scene levels. So that way on scene 3, I can boost this up 2 dB in scene 4 for my leads, and then scene 8, I'll do a little bit more on the clean lead, so 3 dB. Now keep in mind, we're only using about 43% of everything in the FM3, so this is a really great space-saving, CPU-saving method here. Let's hear how it sounds. Here's our clean. Dirt. Dry lead, and I need to set this up a little bit more. So over in scene controllers, dry lead, we want to have up 100%. I'm going to also boost that clean just up a little bit, just to give me a little bit of hair behind it. And then on the CS per scene, the scene controllers, we want that to be on for scene 4 as well. Now we should have the right stuff. So there's that dry lead. If I go back to 3. And notice I'm not hearing a lot of excess, like weird delay tails or something happen, like can happen on channel switches as well. So you should see that preamp staying on. Great. And drive dotted eighth. And I need to put that drive up. That drive control, that is scene 7, and we want that to be driven. Maybe not all the way to like where 7 was, but let's say like around here. Let's see. Yeah, that's sitting around 5, around 6 or so. Here's clean. And now with the drive. And then here's my lead. That's great. I love that. Let's see how that compares loudness-wise with the lead scene. So, and I think that's pretty close. We got a little bit more on the lead, which is good. Great. I love it. You can get so much out of so few blocks in this stuff. It's insane. So I hope you guys enjoyed this. Remember, you can check out my preset templates and the Fractal Favorites Amps and Cab Guide in the description below. I'm going to set this up on my website, so if you do want to download this preset, you can find it over on my website. Again, I'll put that in the description box. Remember, play better, sound great, and understand more, and I'll see you guys on the next one.